This is Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society of BC, brought to you by Sitka Game. Come along as we bring conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. This episode of Talk is Sheep is brought to you by Wild TV. Choose your adventure with Wild TV and Wild TV Plus. Watch on cable and satellite or stream anywhere the hunt takes you. Thank you to Wild TV for being a conservation partner of the Wild Sheep Society BC. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is a good one. We sit down with good friend Kip Fulks, great support of the Wild Sheep Society BC. Bushwhack has generously donated a number of hunts to us over the years. And our 2026 Salute to Conservation and Mountain Hunting Expo, we will have a grizzly bear hunt from Bushwhack on the live auction. So be sure to check that out. For those of you that can't attend the event, go to online hunting auctions, look up Wild Sheep Society BC, and you can bid on the hunt there and a bunch of other great ones. We've got an incredible weekend coming up, just over a week away. We'll be in Penticton. We're sold out on our Saturday night, and we have a full house Friday, and then we have a fantastic weekend planned. Great exhibitors, great vendors, and a great lineup of raffles, auctions, and just a great time to celebrate BC's wild sheep community. So be sure to check it out. Love to see you in Penticton. You can come by the expo. The Mountain Hunting Expo is running from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th of February. We'll be there. We're going to have a great time. We've got our Sheep Hunter University happening, and our lineup this year is second to none. We've got modern-day sniper Kaylin Wojcik. Kaylin's going to be talking about precision shooting, long-range shooting. We also have Ryan Holm from Leica attending. Adam Foss is going to be doing a Capturing the Hunt session and focusing on film and photography's essentials, including digiscoping. And with that in mind, he's focusing on the Olin product. Olin is going to be one of our exhibitors. So come by, check out Olin's product. They're one of the best in the business, if not the best. From what I've heard, I haven't tried them all, so I may be a bit biased, but check out their product, and Adam's going to put on a great seminar. Omer Herbenik's going to be doing From Spot to Shoot, a optics seminar. Brad Brooks from Our Galley Outdoors is coming out to British Columbia doing a Going Light and Fast in the Mountains seminar. Steve Speck and Mark Hilsing from Exo Mountain Gear is going to be talking about pack performance. We've got a horn aging seminar. We've got some field judging with Modern Optics. The Come What Having crew is going to be doing a great job on that one. You maybe have heard me on their podcast talking about that. And then we're going to wrap it up on Saturday night with a Made in Canada panel talking about craft, conviction, and capability. Project updates on all day on Saturday with our partners. And of course, we have our AGM on Friday. So a fantastic weekend for wild sheep conservation. We'd sure love to see you there. There's still tickets available for the day passes. And we're going to kick it off on Thursday night with our RAM Awards. So if you can make it out for the RAM Awards, it's going to be at the Penticton Lakeside Resort. There's still tickets available for that. Go over to our website, pick up some tickets, and come and hang out with us. We're going to celebrate the best that BC has to offer for wild sheep. And man, there's some incredible entries this year. We had dozens and dozens and dozens of entries, and we spent a great deal of time working through all that. All I can say is there's going to be some phenomenal rams celebrated at our Ram Awards. It's on Thursday, February 26th. The Penticton Lakeside Resort. You can buy tickets online. It's only $50 to attend. We're going to have raffles, a lot of games, and just tons of giveaways, and just a great time. So if you're thinking you want to check out the society or some of the work we're doing, come see us on Thursday at the Penticton Lakeside Resort at our Ram Awards, and then spend the weekend and just be there and enjoy everything wild sheep and wild sheep conservation has to offer. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of Talk is Sheep with good friend Kip Fulks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're in day 3 of Sheep Week here. We're in Reno, and special guest today. We've been trying to put this together for a while. Kip Fulks, and your reputation precedes you. I don't need to announce who you are. So welcome to the podcast, and thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, great job. I'm actually excited.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So
good job last night, too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I got to MC there. That was lots of fun.
Yeah, cool. That was my first kind of wild sheep banquet, so that was fun.
It's a little bit unhinged. I'm not sure. I haven't been to SCI. I've been to DSC, and crowd's a little smaller and a little bit more. They're not always talking. In sheep show, everyone's always visiting. There's such a family. Everyone's always nattering
I thought it was
away,
great.
right?
I thought everybody did a great job. Presenters did a good job. Really cool hunts that they auctioned off, and it must raise a ton of money, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good. They do a nice job. But like last night, they broke the record on Washington.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Montana did really well because sheep populations are struggling a bit in parts of Montana.
Yeah.
But was it 480?
450.
450. Yeah, it was good. I think the record's a little higher, 480 or something like that. But
that's awesome.
Not too bad. But tonight's the big night. Are you going to be at the show tonight?
Yeah, we'll stop in. It's going to be cool.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So, Kip, let's talk a little bit about. I think maybe let's touch on what's going on with the business Bushwhack in particular, and you guys are doing some great stuff. I know you bought into the business. It's been 2 years now that you've been.
This is actually our fourth. Yeah.
Okay. Right on. So, you obviously a long history in entrepreneur, all the great stuff you did with Under Armour and so many other things. And obviously this key interest in the outdoors, but what brought you to the guide outfitting industry?
Yeah, I think that's really a good question to kind of start off the podcast, because I could probably do a bunch of different stuff. I got really lucky with Under Armour, kind of hit the home run there, and then it, set me up in life to go after things I'm passionate about. Hunting and fishing has been a part of my life since I was little. Sleeping on a hindquarter in the back of my grandfather's pickup truck, when he was elk hunting. I wanted to be a part of the industry, but I wanted to own a part of culture, passing on hunting and fishing. And for me, I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur, and I wanted to do that through a business and a brand. And I wanted to do it by taking people into the wilderness and showing them what I grew up with. We grew up in the backcountry. A lot of folks in your neck of the woods are comfortable in the backcountry, but people are not comfortable in the backcountry anymore. It's a dying art. As much as it's comfortable in this setting with all these hunters around us, generally speaking, it's intimidating. And so I looked at Wyoming, Montana, some Utah. I even looked at some outfitters in Canada because I just love hunting. And I said, you know what? Go to Alaska. My grandfather was from Fairbanks. I listened to stories growing up from him. It's the last frontier. It truly is the last frontier, much like much of Canada. And so, I made a deal with an outfitter. I bought him out. He had been doing it for 14 years. So it's an established business, which is really helpful. And my guide partner runs the business. So I'm still learning, but I brought kind of a business mentality and kind of a focus on excellence. But I wanted to be a part of the culture. It wasn't necessarily like, let's make money guiding, that sounds like a dumb idea. Talk to all the guide and outfitters. They're like, go do something else if you want to make a ton of money. But owning the culture, like teaching people, being a part of it, exposing my kids to it, my family to it, and specifically doing it in remote, harsh environments. Because I don't think people understand that man can do a lot.
Right.
I mean, we can thrive out there. And some of my guides are in the field, 70 days. Yeah. They don't sweat it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So that it gives you a little background on why it was exciting for me. And it's been good. It's been great.
Well, that was kind of my comment, and you just jumped right into it, was, there's lots of places you could have picked up an outfitting business, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, no, we're going to go to Alaska, and we're not just going to go to Alaska, we're going to go to remote Alaska too, right? So there's all the logistical challenges and all that sort of stuff, and I think I can kind of relate in some capacity. In BC, we have a little bit of that, maybe not as harsh as Alaska, but I thought it was super cool that you're like, no, this is the true frontier.
Yeah, it is.
It's so remote and just super cool.
I mean, if we want to get a new washer for the lodge, we have to get it on 2 barges. We got to drive it over a trucking road. We got to barge it to the lodge. Take you 2 months to get goods up there. You can air freight stuff in here and there, but it gets really costly. But it's true remote. It's also, with remote comes great game. Great wildlife, things that aren't exposed to roads and road hunting and mining and drilling. And so we're not only remote from just people, but industry itself where we're at is pretty limited. So that means these animals get to thrive. We have the highest density of bears in all of Alaska. So, we got a ton of bears. We've got some good moose hunting. We have some Dall sheep up in the Lake Clark Preserve, which we have exclusive rights to. So not only does the remoteness add the challenge of the logistics, but it gives the game, honestly, a buffer from humans. They thrive.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, for me, the most exciting part.
Well, I know in my personal experience, when I've been in the backcountry, when you're combat hunting, it's just, for me, it's not an experience. And I intentionally in BC, when I'm out hunting, I'm always looking for remote areas, low density, because it's remote and there's not many people there. And knowing that I might not be successful, but the experience is going to be
you
so
learn
amazing.
a lot, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's like, it's like you earn your stripes mentality. And you can't, for an Alaskan guide or just someone who lives and thrives in Alaska, is like every year is a real learning curve. Mm-hmm. And so you don't meet a lot of people that are successful that haven't been there a while.
Right.
You meet a lot of people that leave early because they can't hack it, and you meet a lot of people that have been there a long time, and they're very resilient, and weathered, smart, patient hunters. That kind of is probably the biggest allure to me. Corporate America at Under Armour, it's a rat race. Mm-hmm. It's speedy. It's what have you done for me lately? It's boardroom stuff, and that stuff is exciting, but slowing down and like really being intentional out in the woods, I think it's helped me tremendous. I think people that know me well are like, man, you're a totally different person. And I think it's because of the outdoors.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Alaska's, is full of it.
Now you guys, you got all the tags. Do you guys do some fishing and stuff up there as well? And
yeah, we do. We have all the species of salmon, got some great graylings, some unbelievable pike and rainbow trout. Fishing is a very competitive space in Alaska. We do a good bit of it, but we focus on what we call big game and dangerous game. Fishing is usually a client that's been with us and wants to come back with the family.
Right.
We're not really out there marketing ourselves like as a fishing lodge, but we do quite a bit of it. My kids came up this past summer and we hammered the trout and the pike, and it was like, it's almost every cast. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Talk a little bit. So you've been very generous with us. You donated a black grizzly bear hunt. I guess brown bear, or is it grizzly? Brown.
Yeah, grizzly.
Okay, grizzly. Yeah, that's right. It was grizzly bear last year, and we're working on this year as well. Talk a little bit about the experience. So somebody that's going to come grizzly bear hunting with you, what can they expect? What does it look like?
Yeah, typical 8 to 10 day hunt, wilderness, spike camp. So we'd be staying in a tent, usually flying out in a bush plane or a beaver on a float. Glassing a lot, trying to be on a ridge top, trying to pick out that big boar, kind of weeding through. We have a lot of bears, so we're going to see some bears and try to identify a good mature boar. You can shoot sows without cubs, so we tend to only go after sows if they're kind of on the larger size and they're by themselves. Grizzlies are kind of hold that little bit of a wild card. Tend to be a little bit more tenacious, a little bit more frisky, a little bit unpredictable than the brown bears on the coast. And I think that's because they just have to work a little bit harder for their food. Mm-hmm. They can be a tad bit more territorial. Not a super hard hunt in terms of physicality until you see a bear. Right. And then you got to make that mad dash. Maybe 500 yards, maybe a mile, maybe 2 miles. So always telling guys, be prepared, get in shape. It's Alaska. It's never going to hurt you to be in better shape. Yeah. A lot of rifle hunters, but we do take bow hunters. We love bow hunters. We take 1 or 2 bears a year with the bow. From a caliber standpoint, everybody wants to know what gun to bring. We love that 338 and up. All our guides carry 375 Rugers, so that kind of gives you an indication. But you can kill a bear with a 30-06, and there's a ton of stories over the years with guys. So don't sweat the rifle. Not far shots. Nobody wants to go in on a wounded bear that was shot at 400 yards.
Right.
So we try to get up close, under 200, and just hammer them and, keep everybody safe.
So is your stuff considered coastal or is it interior?
We have both.
Okay.
We have coastal brown bears, which is not the auction hunt. That's an interior grizzly. They're kind of the same damn bear.
Right. Just what they're eating.
Yeah, it's what they're eating, and the wildlife biologists designate how far they are from the coast, gives them the grizzly or the brown bear. But in all honesty, it's the same bear. And we shoot some big grizzlies because, we have some big grizzlies because I think they're brown bears that wander.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They cross that imaginary line, and now they're a grizzly.
Yeah.
But the true coastal brown bear is going to be a bit darker, bigger. They love their salmon, whale, seal, so their food is a little bit more plentiful.
Right. So the interior hunt, spot and stalk, obviously, getting up high, looking down, finding them, and then getting after them. Hunting the rut, is that typically or
May is going to be that time when they're looking for gals, and they can tie up with the female, and that's a good time to get on them because they're pretty enamored with the other bear they're with, and so that gives you an opportunity to get really close. That's also a really good time for bow hunting.
Right.
In the fall, you can hunt them in August into September a little bit, and that they tend to focus on the rivers down a little bit low looking for fish. Which is nice because you can see a lot of bears. They come out of the woodwork when the fish come.
Yeah.
It is a spot and stalk. We don't like to go drag our scent everywhere. These bears don't like your smell.
Right.
So you're not hiking around all day just pounding your scent on this ridge and that ridge and down a valley. We're very intentional about where we put our scent down because the next day a bear might come from somewhere you didn't know and cross your footsteps. And I've watched them. The minute they hit that exact spot that you stepped and they smell you, 3 days later,
that's incredible.
They turn and run.
Yeah.
They don't want to be around you.
Right.
I tell all the bow hunters, they don't know you're there.
Right.
Just keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
They do not know you're there. If they did, they'd be running the other direction.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
I love bear hunting, and I love watching people get a kick out of it. So super happy that we donated it to you guys, and I think it raised some good money for you guys, and it's good for us for exposure. So I'm like win-win. So we're in to do it again.
I appreciate it, Kip. That's so cool. Just out of curiosity on the bow thing. So how does that do you just get set up? Obviously, do you have scenarios where it's got to obviously you're hunting them a little bit different than with a rifle. How are you getting in that close on them? I see them on these salmon-bearing streams in the fall, and it doesn't look quite. It's still freaking amazing and scary, but they're focused on eating.
Yeah.
But a spring bear hunt with a bow, I can imagine that's pretty challenging.
It is challenging. I think there's a couple advantages in spring, and there's advantages in the fall. The spring is there's not as much leaves on the trees.
Right.
The bush is not super green, so we can really see a lot.
Right.
So we can find them.
Right.
And when we find them, we can get in on them. And they're really keying in on the grass. That's early grass coming up, lots of different vegetation coming up on the sun. And so they are going to feed a lot. They like pulling up roots, rolling over rocks. So they are also focused on things. The wind in Alaska is pretty steady. It's not like elk hunting where you get these weird thermals and you're playing the morning wind is different than the evening wind. We have nice steady wind. And once you get a good wind, you make a stalk. That's really the first thing we do is hey, let's figure out what this wind is doing so we can get in the right direction. It's really hard to get in front of a bear who's moving. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If he's got his mind that he's going over to the next ridge and you think you're going to cut him off,
not going to happen.
No. Every step they take is 8 of yours.
Right.
So, we've made a lot of mistakes over the years trying to we can get in front of them, And so you kind of let those go and hope they come back around. The ones that are hung up eating or they're with a gal, those are good bow hunts.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And, we're talking 20 yards.
Oh.
We're not taking 70-yard shots on bears with a bow.
So when you bring someone to camp like that, are you dialing up? You got the target set up, and you're no, you're gonna, and you're like, no, you're not. And part
of it's us interviewing people,
right?
Not only when we book them, but when they get there.
Right.
What kind of gear do they have? What's their setup? How confident are they? We shoot the targets before we go out. We try to get them to shoot every day in camp. We pull the tundra up and we roll it over. It's like a big sponge. And you can shoot an arrow in that thing all day long. It's like a perfect target.
That's cool.
So we try to keep them active. So you're not sitting dormant for 5 days and then asking a guy to draw his bow.
Right.
So we're very active with the bow hunters to keep them shooting, even though if we're not on bears. And I will say bow hunters are a pretty dedicated group. Same with rifle hunters, but I would say the bow hunters, because of how close you can get, they're usually great shots.
Right.
I've seen a bunch of bears over the years die really quick with a bow.
Right. Where
on that rifle, guys get a little buck fever, they get nervous, they pull that trigger, and then get another one in them, get another one in them. Archery hunters, those bears expire pretty quick. It's amazing how effective they are.
What kind of broadhead are you shooting on a bear like that?
Now, we're fine with anything. You take a 100, 125. We like, fixed blade, but we have guys come in with mechanicals. I think the equipment today in the archery field is so good.
Yeah.
Don't change your setup for bear hunting.
Right.
If you're comfortable shooting it and that's what you shoot all the time, bring that.
Right.
Much like a rifle. Don't go shoot a rifle you've never shot before. Do we like heavier arrows? Yes. Do we like bigger broadheads? Yes. But it's not like a requirement.
Right.
Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah.
Do you do any archery stuff yourself?
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love archery hunting. I've done a bunch of muley and elk over the years and kind of focused on that. Most of my bears have been with a rifle. But I didn't want to be a new owner and, come in and, start hunting.
Right,
Who wants the guy coming in shooting? That's not cool.
Yeah.
So I'm a packer.
Right.
I'll get my license at the end of 2026 after 2 years of packing. The team allows me to kind of do some things, but, I'm definitely not earning my stripes like my team is.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm excited to just be a part of it and experience it. But I let Tim, my head guide, make the calls. He's the expert.
Yeah, very cool. So you've done it for 4 years now. You've obviously got your hand in other businesses, Origin.
Yep.
You've had, multiple businesses over the years and tons of stuff going on. What's the guide outfitting industry been like? What's it been like to be an owner of an outfit? How rewarding has it been?
What's funny is I've been pretty impressed. When you go and, everybody can appreciate this, probably listening to the podcast, is you shoot a muley or a whitetail and you're excited.
Yeah.
And then you walk up on it, and it's not quite as big as you thought. Yeah. Got a little ground shrinkage, That's been the exact opposite for me on the outfitting side. It's actually been better than I thought. Other outfitters have been super helpful. Clients have been great. I've learned a lot, but honestly, it's been great. I don't really have any complaints. Huh. The logistics caught me off guard a little bit with Alaska, but we figured that out quickly. I'm all about the client experience. We focus on the client. Mm-hmm. The minute you leave camp, there's an email asking, how can we get better? What did you like? What did you don't like? We want to hear it. Mm-hmm. The tent leaked, the chair sucked, we didn't see any animals until day 5. My guide was this. We want to hear it all because I'm all about our clients' word of mouth is gold.
Right.
The hunting space.
Yeah.
The minute someone says you suck, you're done.
Right.
So that to me is super important. And because I was booking hunts myself, I understood that.
Right.
I had some bad experiences like we've all have. Guys promise something and it's not quite what it is. So I don't know. I think it's been a good community. I've been in the hunting space for a long time because I started the outdoor division at Under Armour, selling apparel and footwear. But I'm stoked. Everybody's been great. It's been good. I like competition. I want to be the best. So yeah, there's great people out there doing stuff. That doesn't scare me. We're gonna win.
That's awesome. What's the motto? Die with your boots on?
Die with your boots on.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I had the previous owner tell me we can't say that because nobody's going to book a hunt. And I said, well, I'm trying to get the right kind of clients.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm also, I'm tickled to hear stories about BC. And, I've been up in Canada a few times, not a ton. But, I used to play professional lacrosse, and I played a ton of lacrosse in Canada. So I have a sweet spot for a lot of my teammates that were Canadian over the years. So I hold a special love for you guys' national anthem, and I love going to Canada. So, going up and experiencing Canada too is part of why I donated the hunts.
I appreciate it. We'll have to get you out to the show. I know we've been
trying
to work on it. But you guys, you're super busy. You're doing all these shows. And that's maybe what I want to transition to a little bit is about the conservation ethic. And, here you are. I see you donated a hunt, did really well on the auction last night at Wild Sheep Foundation. And you guys have been, generous with us. And I know you're a businessman, first and foremost. You've had incredible success throughout your entire life. Does conservation have a space in that? And, we talk about the wild sheep economy, and a lot of it relies on benevolence, right? People that care and they want to give back and they want to support. But there's also a business case too, right? And you got to, first and foremost, you have to have a healthy business. Obviously, there's a conservation vein in what you're doing because of what I've seen you at DSC last year. You're here supporting Wild Sheep Foundation. You've donated to us, and I'm sure there's much more that you're doing beyond that. But does it fit in a business model? Is it an important part of what you're doing?
Yeah, it's a fine line, right? When's the last time you saw a homeless person donate $100,000 to the Wild Sheep Foundation?
Exactly.
So businessmen make the world go round.
Right.
Unreasonable men and women run the world. Unreasonable people get shit done.
Yeah.
And in turn, they can do good. And I'm very focused on build a healthy business, be profitable, take care of my employees, make sure the guides are taken care of. They're doing dangerous shit every day. And if that's going well, of course, I'm going to be a part of the industry to help protect and promote healthy conservation and wildlife practices in general. I grew up with a Marine dad, Vietnam vet, very much about respect and honor. And so I just take that into whatever I do. But I am a for-profit guy.
Right.
And I believe that's why the Wild Sheep Foundation is here, because there's unreasonably wealthy men that donate time and money. There's not a lot of losers in this crowd.
Yeah.
And so that's also inspiring that they've taken the time to take their hard-earned money and do great things with it. But at the end of the day, like, business makes the world go round. It's a free economy. So I do think it's an interesting fine line. It's not just conservation for conservation's sake. Mm-hmm. I think brands and businesses that profit off of the outdoors need to invest in the outdoors. Mm-hmm. I think that's the economy of conservation. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it can just be like blind donation. Mm-hmm. You have to have brands that are smart, innovative, well-run, creative, good marketing. And we see tons of them. I mean, whether it's apparel, guns, tents, I mean, all those companies, whether it's a small donation or a big donation, that adds up. But where would it be if they weren't good businessmen?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that's an interesting topic to talk about. And then obviously when it comes to specific animals like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Wild Sheep, or, the Meal Deal Foundation, like, everybody has their passion, but I think each one of them play a really critical role. But you kind of scrape it back, and it's good businessmen at the end of it.
Well, I think it's critical, and I think on the conservation org side, and I think about this a lot for us in BC, and obviously the foundation's mastered it. They've done a great job of monetizing it and making it lucrative for you to be
business
here, right? Like, if you had to come here and you lost money every time,
why would I come?
The well's going to dry up, right?
Yeah.
Like, you might be benevolent, you might care, but if you can make it profitable, so we brought people together here. So the foundation's mastered that, and I think lots about that in BC is how can we do that? How can you donating to us build your business?
Yeah, what's that circle of life?
It's a partnership,
right?
It
is.
We have to work together, and if you're getting nothing out of this relationship, maybe some good feelings or goodwill or maybe a little bit of PR, but if that's all you're getting out of it, eventually that's going to dry up.
Yeah, I think like this whole idea of around relationship building and community is super important. Mm-hmm. But every relationship and community fails when the commerce goes away.
Right. Yeah.
It can't just be, we love our mom and dads, right?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Everybody else has got to do something for me eventually. Yeah. And so I think every relationship that is founded on respect and integrity, but also has really good commerce. And I think the Wild Sheep Foundation, not only your organization, but here at the Maine, they've done a good job pulling people in. Mm-hmm. And they've done a great job of making it sexy and cool and getting people to care. They do a lot of raffles. They give away things. They have great brands here. It's a good floor. It's a great city with Reno. So, hey, that's exciting. Cool. I can come here and market myself to those people. Yeah. So I do think that kind of circle of life in this outdoor space is it has a fine line, but it seems to work well.
Right.
It does.
Yeah.
I think when people try to take advantage of each other, eventually it just falls apart.
Right. Yeah. brought it up earlier, community and just working together and supporting each other, integrity. And I think that's what goes around. There's so much of that going on here, and looking after each other and recognizing, the great people and the great things that are being done. It's pretty awesome. So.
You did a great job last night. I think everybody listening might get a kick out of this. They might frown on it too, so this will be an interesting comment. I always like to push the envelope. I was like, man, these guys love sheep. I mean, I'm like a bear hunter, right? Like, give me some more bears, right? Or some elk or muley. But I was like, man, these guys are just crazy about sheep. What is wrong with these people? And I was like, why don't they just make sheep hunting bow hunting only? There'll be more sheep.
Yeah.
And someone looked at me like, you can't say that out loud. I was like, if you want to protect more sheep, just make it bow hunting only. There'll be a lot less sheep killed, especially with modern rifles today. I mean, these guys are great. Some of these weapons at this show are amazing, some of the technology today. But it was a funny comment. I was just like trying to get under the skin a little bit of the hardcore sheep guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
But, man, what a beautiful animal.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah, and we have doll sheep in our area too. So,
do you guys have some tags for those?
Yeah, we do. It's all over the counter. We own the exclusive rights to Lake Clark Preserve.
Okay.
We haven't killed a doll in 3 years. Kind of selective on which client. Super hard hunt. Very steep. We have a couple guides that specifically are sheep guides. I am not. I've never hunted sheep, so I won't act like I'm an expert. Tim, my partner, and one of our guides, Hunter Dane, who was actually up for Guide of the Year here a couple years back, was a runner-up at the sheep show. So we have some really quality sheep guides and some sheep in our area. We have not sold a tag yet, but we think probably 27 or 28 will go in with a client. So that'll be fun. We can come back here and kind of promote ourselves as a sheep outfitter. Right now we're kind of bear and moose.
Well, and it's a great time for bear. Everyone wants bear these days, right? Especially grizzly and obviously brown bear.
Yeah, crazy up in your neck of the woods with the management of the grizzlies.
Yeah, it is. And, the Yukon's been struggling a little bit too, always worried about that. They've got, I think, a conservative government in there now that's Wade, the minister, he sat at my table last night, and I'm not worried about it going away on his watch. He's pretty.
That's good.
I'm sure he's pretty pro.
I had one of my best hunts with Shockey.
Is that right?
Where I killed, harvested a moose, a great caribou, and a grizzly in like 3 days.
Wow.
With Jim.
Yeah.
And we sponsored Jim way back when at Under Armour.
Yeah, Under Armour. I remember that, yeah.
Became good friends with him and his son Brandlin, and actually his whole family. Absolutely great people. But, man, what an unbelievable place to hunt in Canada.
Was that with Rogue River and the Yukon there? Yeah, that's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So you killed a moose, grizzly, and a boo, you said? Or?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's a
in
pretty
3
good trip.
days. Yeah.
That's
Jim
crazy.
was like, "What? You got a horseshoe up here, wazoo."
Yeah.
And then the weather turned bad, and we got out of there. So, but Canada is just a wealth of resources. It's nuts. It's so big.
It's amazing. Well, Alaska's got that too. But,
it is.
But Canada, there's just more of it, I guess. So in the sense that multiple provinces and everything in the Yukon.
What do you think you guys do from the sheep up in BC, like your organization? Like, what are some of the things you guys are trying to do to change and bring more constituents in? Like, how do you guys look at the future?
Yeah, it's just sheep are high maintenance. They just, they're so majestic. They look so powerful, and they're hard to get to, but they're wimps. Like, they're just not resilient, right? Grizzly bears, they're just
tough as nails.
They just go through anything. Mountain goats the same, but grizzly bears sheep, they're so sensitive to disease, predation, habitat loss. They don't like people. They're super remote, right? Same with grizzlies and goats, of course, too. But so there's always challenges, and that's the one thing that our membership has been so focused on the resource, and we just continue to grow. We've signed up so many people to show here. I can't get over it. And I think podcast is part of it, hearing about what we're doing in British Columbia. And there's just a real desire by our members to see that the resource do well. Every year just keeps continuing growing. That we're putting more and more back to conservation. We're a small group. We're 1,700 people in BC.
Yeah, that's not that small.
As our chapter. And we're doing close to $900,000 in our projects from our own funding.
Are you serious?
But we bring in funding from Wild Sheep Foundation's one of our they are our biggest donor, benefactor, grantor in BC. This year we've got $180,000 grant from them. So that doesn't even include the 180 from them in our numbers. So, and we work with a bunch of organizations across the Dallas Safari Club, Grand Slam Club Ovis, that work with us on projects. And I think that's one of the strengths that we have is we're out hustling, trying to build these relationships, even with the chapter and affiliates. Come and work with us on this project. Let's be partners on it. We'll lead it. We'll put the seed money in. You guys back us up, and we're just getting the buy-in. And donations like yours, they go right back on the ground. They go towards the mission.
Yeah, that's great.
And our members they believe in it and they're supporting. It's really, really cool.
Yeah,
really
that's
rewarding.
cool. Well, I mean, 1,700 people. That's not. I mean, that's a good amount of people.
Yeah. It's exciting. We keep growing, and I think, we talked about this earlier about content, right? Like people don't give a shit what kind of content. You just need content, and that's the one thing we're always talking. We're always sharing. We're always, when we screw up, we talk about it. But it's a lot of collaboration, working together and sharing.
Yeah, it's good, because I think for years a little bit of the hunting space was like behind closed doors, and people didn't quite understand what went on at some of these organizations, whether it was brands or conservation groups. And so I think the more you can share, highlight the good, the bad, the ugly, keep the mission at the top of minds for everybody, I think it's super important. I think community activation, whether it's 1,000 people or 100 people or it's 10 people, getting people that are a part of your organization involved and active. So you might have the smallest group or the biggest group, but they're the most active and engaged. To me, those are the best organizations of any kind, whether for-profit or nonprofit, is activating the community. Mm-hmm. Whether it's little things, whether it's friends, family, whether it's kids drawing pictures of sheep, whether it's big projects. At Under Armour, that was a big thing for us, is like we want every employee to be like 3 employees.
Right.
Because they're just highly active. They care about what's going on. They know the business, and they're out there being advocates for us. Yeah. I don't want people that are just punching the clock. Yeah. And so that, whether it's guides, businesses, or whether it's this nonprofit community you have, getting them active. That seems to be the win.
I agree, and I'm super proud of what we've done. We had an issue. It was actually around black bears, and anti-hunting org was putting pressure on the government, and we did an Act Now campaign. And so at the time we were
your community.
Yeah, exactly. I think probably had 1,300 members at the time. We showed up on the steps of the legislature with 50,000 letters and delivered them to the premier, and that delivered a very, very clear message. And to put that together, to get 50,000 letters from our team, our membership.
That means everybody was out there pitching in.
People care, right? Yeah. And so I think that's the cool part. I noticed that with Under Armour too. Like there's just like this strength in the brand, right? Like brand recognition, like particularly back in the day, but even today it's just so that fabric is weaved through there for like that. Obviously,
you got to make people care, right?
Right.
You got to make it relevant to them, and obviously, issues like doing away with black bear hunting, hits close to home, or whatever they were trying to do. I mean, getting people engaged, because I think we're over-marketed. There's a downside to brands and marketing. It's almost like weaponized propaganda. Yeah. These companies are so good at marketing. We have so many messages in our face every day, from buying dish detergent to ovens, hunting gear, whatever. It's just everywhere. Mm-hmm. So, I think you have to be really good at being true to yourself, but you got to pound your chest.
Yeah.
You can't just go dormant and expect people to care.
If they don't know, how can they care?
Just because their lives are so inundated. And I know every community might be, big city, little city, remote village. Everybody lives in different areas, but generally speaking, there's not a place in this world anymore where you're marketed to,
right,
by everybody, and the government.
Yes.
So they might be the best marketers of all.
Yeah, that's
so. I mean, I think you do have to just get out there and be proud of who you are and stay true. But you got content. So I love the podcast. Sorry it took so long to.
No, you're a busy guy.
On.
Yeah, for sure. It's an honor to have you on.
Yeah, no, it's been fun to to donate and be a part of it. But
Cool.
no, it's fun just to watch this organization. So
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Well, I know you got you're short on time. You're stepped away from your booth.
I got to go sell some hunts, man. Jeez, my team's going to kick me out.
I got 2 quick ones for you. My son Marcus said Jocko Fuels. Anything on hunting specifically? Do you use any of the product in the backcountry? Do you have any outdoors lines?
You know,
or anything
yeah, it's funny. Jocko and the team at Jocko Fuel have done a great job making really healthy supplements, protein drinks, and honestly, for the backcountry, we make a hydration powder that I live and die by.
Is that right?
It's super healthy, doesn't have anything bad for you, but it's got all the stuff you need when you're grinding it out, sweating, and going days and days on end. I live by it. I've been actually living by it at the show because the show can be a little challenging at times, on your feet talking to people.
Yeah.
So that our hydration powders has been awesome, but the company's really, really doing well with protein drinks, so that's fun. But it's clean.
Right.
There's nothing bad.
Yeah.
Jocko stands behind his product. He's super into integrity about what's in the product, and there's a lot of companies shoving crap and selling it, saying it's good for you. So, if you're out there listening, read your labels.
Yeah.
Get healthy, get strong, but Jocko's a great partner. Products are awesome.
Cool. Do you know if we can get them in Canada? I don't even know.
They just started some distribution, so I think it's just
perfect.
in early days of getting it up there.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. And then lastly, what's on the radar for, I guess, Bushwhack or you personally? I know obviously you're really committed to Bushwhack and growing that, but you're obviously involved with Origins and everything else. So what's on the radar for you? Yeah,
the team at Origins is doing a great job. Made in USA. They guys are just cranking. They have a bunch of great new products coming out for 26, and they make some core products like jeans and chinos and things like that they kill it every day. For me, I'm a big gear nut. I've designed and developed gear my whole life, so I've actually been working on some backcountry stuff that hopefully I get a launch here. Probably not this year, but we'll probably test it in 26 to launch in 27 and really put Bushwhack on product.
Right
not
on.
Just, hey, book a hunt. We know what you need when you're out there because we're doing it day in and day out, and we're using other people's products right now.
Right.
And we're kind of like, hey, we think there's some areas for improvement. So stay tuned.
You really see the exposure in these remote hunts like where you guys are at, right? Like, it's one thing if you're on a Wyoming hunt and you're like, you blow your pack out while whip into town and buy a new one, right? That's not the case with you guys. You're like,
no,
if
your
you're
gear
out there,
is
it's gotta
live or
last.
die.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, die with your boots on, but your gear is what's going to save you.
Yeah.
You know, so we got some cool things that we've been working on. So I like that. I like kind of thinking of new ideas and testing them out in the field. That's kind of like what gets me going. So stay tuned for some Bushwhack stuff.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep my eyes out, and when I start seeing this stuff, I'm going to bug you, and then we'll work on getting it up in Canada for...
I don't know if it'll be Canadian approved. You guys are too tough.
Awesome. Well,
we'll make it in plaid.
Yeah, exactly. Just put a maple leaf on it. It's
good.
Made in Canada, yeah.
I have to plug to the group, too, that if they're mostly Canadians listening to this podcast, I was like... I live and die playing lacrosse in Canada. I loved it. So I love the Canadian fans. You guys are huge sports fans. And for hockey and lacrosse, anybody that ever came to a lacrosse game, I appreciate it. And I played a bunch of games in Vancouver. So thank you for letting me play in Canada. I love it.
Yeah, well, we sure appreciate you.
I wish the Americans liked lacrosse as much as the Canadians do.
Yeah, that's a cool sport. I think we invented it, right? I'm pretty sure it's a Canadian sport.
I think it might be the national sport still.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah, it's crazy.
All you hockey nuts. Hey, check the what's the national sport of Canada? I don't know. Maybe they changed it or not. I could be wrong.
I think it is the national sport. And I actually think we invented basketball, believe it or not.
which is funny.
Is hard to believe. But I might be
how
wrong
many
on that,
amazing basketball guys do you know coming out of Canada right now? Maybe out of Toronto. You got some ballers in Toronto.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I appreciate it, Kyle. Thank
awesome.
you.
Thanks so much, Kip. Appreciate your time today. And anyone that wants to book a hunt, what's the best way? Just over the website?
Yeah, just come to bushwhackalaska.com or send me a note on Instagram at bushwackalaska. We love it. Anybody's interested, reach out to us.
Awesome. Keep up the great work, and thanks for all you do.
No, great job, Kyle. Thank you.
Thanks.